Welcome to a new installment of the Advice Annex with me, JP Metz, the show where I give you guys my own 2 friggin' cents based on my own personal life experience. Now, how'd you guys know I'm not a doctor, I'm not any kind of clinician, I don't have any degrees on the wall, but I do have my own personal life experience, and if I think I can help out your situation in whatever way I can, then I definitely want to help you guys out. And I welcome all sorts of questions regarding all sorts of different topics, and if you guys need any advice for a future episode, please call me. The number is 732-529-5772, or if you're a little shy to do that, you can email me. The email address is theadviceannex@gmail.com. And just try to remember to include your name, age, and general location, alright? Now before I get to today's questions, which I got a lot of great questions, thank you guys, I appreciate all of your contributions, I just wanted to make a general statement that if you out there, say maybe you're thinking about your future, maybe this is your last year of high school, or you're starting college, or something along those lines, and you're not sure what you want to do with your life, or you're freaking out about student loans, and you're not sure if you're making the right decision, to those of you out there, I want to say you are not alone. And in fact, I know for a fact that you're not alone, because I mean, not only have I gotten so many questions along those lines, I see it on the internet all the time, people freaking out, people anxiety catting about things, and I feel like I just want to generally say that I think what you guys should do is you should talk to each other about it. Now, I know that that's weird, people generally don't like talking to people anymore, but, like I get questions like this, and it's like, I don't know your own personal life situation. I don't know your finances. I don't know what you want to major in, for the most part. So, it's a very personal decision that you can, in fact, make yourself. You don't need like a parent or a guidance counselor or something like that to tell you what you should do, or an advice lady, I guess I should say. You can make these decisions yourself, and it's a lot easier to make a decision like that when you talk to your peers, like people that are in the same situation, and I can guarantee there are way more of them out there than you may be thinking, that you are the last thing from alone right now. So just knowing that little piece of advice, I hope, helps a lot of you guys out there, because I know a lot of you guys are kind of freaking out about that kind of stuff. So I hope that that's helpful. All right, let's listen to the first call.
Hi, Justine. This is Alex. I'm calling from Chicago, Illinois. I just turned 23 this month, and my advice and question basically relates to my age right now. I feel like everybody around me, especially through social media like Facebook, who's my age or even younger, is already like graduating or getting married or having kids, or have this dream job type of life, which I don't have. I'm still in school. I have a job, but it's nothing ideal. And I would like to know how to get out of this funk. I feel like I'm not hitting the milestones I should be hitting, and I don't know if this pressure I feel to do certain things right now at this age is normal. So if you have any advice on how to get rid of this anxiety about being in your 20s, I would really appreciate it. Thank you, and I'm a big fan.
Well, thank you, Alex. I'm happy to hear that you're a fan. That makes me happy. Well, I can say that I can definitely relate to this. I go on Facebook, I'm a few years older than you, and I mean, my friends have their own houses, kids, but my life is, I mean, you can see the surroundings around me right now. It's, I feel like I haven't gotten really far, but one thing that I want you, well, there's actually several things, of course, but I really want you to stop comparing yourself to other people. Please stop comparing yourself to other people. I mean, think about it. You're not married right now. you don't have a house, you don't have these things that your friends on Facebook have, but why is that? Well, it's because, you're at school, you're doing your thing. You're doing your own thing, what you decided to do. You are not doing those other things because you're doing something else. It doesn't make it wrong. It just means that that's what you chose to do. It's what you want to do. And I do think that one of the best things that I'm going to talk about that you can do to help get yourself out of a funk is by making some goals for yourself. Really identifying what is it that I would like to accomplish, and make it small. You look at these friends on Facebook and you're like, yeah, wow, I would love a house on the beach. They have these things that you don't have yet, but you have your own goals. You maybe want to get an A in a certain class. You may have, other things that you want to accomplish. Your goals are just different than theirs right now. You are not doing what they're doing for a reason. So I really want you to think about it. It doesn't make it less valid just because it seems like they accomplished more. That's not it. You know the old saying, like, the joys in the journey? That's what I'm talking about. If you set small goals for yourself, as you accomplish those goals, you will feel better and better about yourself. If you have some kind of extravagant ideal that's out there in outer space that you can kind of see glimmer a little bit, then you're bound to be pretty unsatisfied most of the time because you can't reach that star all the way over there. So you need to think about what you can do to feel better about yourself. What goals do you have? Do you want to be a better student? Do you want to learn more? Do you want to help people more? Just try to bring it down to those basics. What is it generally you would like to accomplish? Think of like a general word. Like I want to help people, or I want to be a better student, or I want to try harder. Just identify the basics. Now, for me, well, those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I've been in a funk. And when I went really general like that, like, okay, generally what is it that I would like to do? And I did identify that I would like to be more helpful. So, what can I do about that? I don't know, because I don't have much money. Like, I don't, what could I possibly do to help people? Well, I could work on this podcast. That could be the goal that you set for yourself. Like, how can I help people? It could be just helping somebody with the dishes, or it could be cleaning up after somebody, or just real basic things like that. I think we get really lost in striving for an out in the stratosphere goal that we can barely even see. I think we can get really caught up in that. And I'll give you a brief example. I was watching Loved or Listed today. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I was tweeting about that. And there was this couple, and they had a budget for a house that was $1.3 million. Now this seems like a couple that had it all together. They had the holy grail that we're all striving for. They seemed to have a very happy marriage. They had kids. They had this huge budget. They were obviously very successful. But these people nitpicked about what kind of heater their closet had. I mean, these people were obviously not easily satisfied. They had a very hard time trusting Hillary. They couldn't let go of control. And they just seemed like I said, they just could not be satisfied. They could not be appeased. They just didn't seem to be like that happy of people. So what I'm saying is even if you have these material things that you think you should be striving for, it does not guarantee happiness. What makes you feel more fulfilled is doing what helps you feel good. And you're not sure what makes you feel good? Go general. Like I said, does helping people make you feel good? Does teaching make you feel good? Does learning make you feel good? And look, when I say teaching and learning, it doesn't have to mean teaching in a class. You can find ways to help people learn about something, or You can find things maybe on the internet that you can learn about if you want to learn in general. If you want to create, buy yourself a drawing pad. I mean, very basic things that you can do for yourself. So I would love for you to consider these things. And I also want you to relax because everybody's 20s suck like this. It's really hard. Trust me, my sister's 18 months older than me. She already has her own house and 3 kids. I mean, I understand that you kind of want to compete, but it's not like that. Everybody's running different races, okay? Good luck with this, Alex. All right, next call.
Hello, JP Mets. My name is Jordan. I am 20 years old. I live in Tallahassee, Florida. I go to the State University here, and I'm a junior. I recently have been dealing with depression for about a year. I didn't really realize how bad it got until I hadn't left the house for 3 days, and I hadn't eaten for 3 days, and almost passed out, and called my sister and cried, and it was a really big debacle. And so I hadn't had the nerve to tell my parents until 2 weeks ago because I have been so scared, and I don't even know why. I have very loving parents. We went to a physician and put me on antidepressants, and once they started putting me back to school, since it was summertime, they told me they would find me a counselor and a physician to see. I've been here for 2 weeks, and we still haven't seen a counselor. I've been taking antidepressants, and I've been dealing with my anxiety and depression as much as I can. My problem is my parents seem to think that it's over because they aren't very well versed in mental illness, with the exception of severe mental illness like bipolar disorder or manic bipolar disorder. I don't know how to tell them how I still don't feel okay and I still feel self-destructive, but I don't know how to tell them without scaring them and pulling me out of school. If you could help me, that would be amazing. Bye.
Jordan, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through this. That's a pretty bad problem. I had my own problems with depression when I was in college, and it was awful because oh boy, it's hard because you're right. You know, sometimes a lot of people just don't get it. Sometimes a lot of people, including our parents, just don't understand what you're going through. They just don't. And, you know, and people can try to understand, they can be nice, but, you know, they think everything appears to be fine, so they just kind of figure that you're fine and it's rough. The first thing I want to say is it sounds like from your call, if I'm correct, that your parents only knew about this for 2 weeks, so is it so that you've only been taking your antidepressants for 2 weeks? Now, once again, I'm reminding everybody I'm not a doctor, but I do know that antidepressants do take longer than that to work. I've been on them in the past. I've been helped by them in the past. But the thing is that they do take a while to kind of really get, you know, work, unfortunately. First couple weeks, for me anyway, is just a bunch of side effects. This kind of stinks. But, so I just hope that you're not too discouraged thinking that, you know, you're not getting better. You know, if you're seeing a counselor and if you're taking medicine, you know, you're working on it. That's good. That's great. I mean, that's more than a lot of people with depression do to help themselves. Another thing that you can do to help yourself, it sounds like, you seem to let things get to a crisis point. Like, you know, you didn't even realize anything was really wrong until you hadn't left the house or even eaten in days. And then you call your sister freaking out. You know, you don't have to wait that long to reach out to people. You don't have to wait until you're suicidal to tell your parents that you could use some reassurance. I think that a lot of times that's all we need, is just talking to someone and you like relate to each other, you reassure each other, and it's just nice connecting to someone, hearing their voice. So, but if you're waiting until it gets to a crisis point so that, you know, people can really truly see what kind of pain you're in, you're not doing yourself any favors. What's helpful is if you can call, even when you're just feeling kind of like, I have all this homework to do and I don't know where to start. That's like a normal feeling like that. It's helpful to talk to someone who's going through something similar before it kind of cascades out of control into full-blown depression when you're not even leaving your house. The first inkling when you're not feeling well, it's helpful to just pick up the phone with whoever. I mean, you don't even have to talk about depression. A lot of times it's just helpful talking to someone who cares about you and hearing their voice and listening to what they're going through. It kind of gets you out of your own head a little bit, and you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you're like all narcissistic about it, and I hope it didn't sound like that, but what I am saying is it's just, it kind of gets us out of that funk for a minute, just listening to other people and talking to them, and a lot of times that's all we need. We don't even necessarily need to talk to somebody about all of our problems and what's the root of all of it. Sometimes it's helpful just to have a general conversation, it kind of gets us out of that moment enough that you can go after the call, go do what you have to do, go, finish the homework, go get something to eat. Just enough to kind of keep us with the rhythm of things. I know how depression is. You just don't care. You're like F life, F eating, F this, F that. But if you can, with little choices that you make every day, if you can choose to not abandon life, like you wake up and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do the little things I know I have to do. Like, I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to make breakfast. And then, it just, the momentum continues. You know what I mean? Like, it's like physics. That's it. An object in motion stays in motion. So just do the little things, but then the little things turn into the big things. You know what I mean? Just do little things to help yourself. Just a little phone calls, little this, little that. And that should help. And especially in conjunction with seeing a counselor, taking medication. And it sounds like you're really taking control here, which is great. You kind of saved me the first half of my answer. I would tell you that I think it sounds like you need to see somebody. But you're taking care of that, which means that deep down inside you do want to get better. Deep down you don't want to be depressed, and that's the most important thing, I think. When you want to feel better, you have to want to feel better to feel better. You know what I mean? All right, thank you, Jordan. That was a great question. I hope things work out for you. All right, now I'm going to get to some email questions. Now, again, if any of you guys have a question and you would rather email than call me, you can. The address is theadviceannex@gmail.com. Just remember to include your name, age, and general location. First email comes from Sue, 17 years old and from California. Sue says, "Hi, I'm an incoming freshman at college. A few days ago, I met this guy who was 6 years older than me. He seemed very nice at first, showing me all the great places on campus. But as I got to hanging out with him, I realized he's a very touchy-feely guy. He grazed my knees and forcibly kissed me yesterday on the lips and on the neck. Gross. I freaked out and deleted everything about him on my phone. But I can't help but feel very grossed out and uncomfortable from the entire experience. What should I do?" Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, Sue. That sounds really gross. Well, the first thing that you can do is just have some boundaries for a while. Just until you feel better about the situation. I'm not saying that you need to start being paranoid, but, when you do see people or hang out with people, make sure that it's in a group or a couple people that you trust. I would recommend against hanging out with guys alone for a while. I'm not saying that they're all going to be creeps like this guy was, but you're probably not going to feel comfortable, and there's no reason for you to feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing that I would do. Just set up some boundaries until you feel okay, and I think you will feel okay. I had a situation. This was a few months ago. I was on the bus going to New York, and when we got to the Port Authority, I was getting my stuff together, about to leave, and I saw the guy sitting next to me. He was looking at me with his pants. He had his you know, like his hand, like I don't, you guys can imagine, he was looking at me and smiling. And I mean, I obviously wasn't raped, I guess, technically, but I did still feel just so grossed out from the whole experience, and I felt just taken advantage of and stupid, frankly, that I didn't notice that. And I didn't say anything. I didn't even know how long that had been going on. So the point is I understand how you feel, but you know what? This is a lesson. This is a lesson now for the future. Now you know that, you know, a guy, you know, even if he seems nice, like you have no reason to doubt this guy, like you still don't know everything about him, and you might not want to hang out with him alone. You know what I mean? Like, you might want to wait until you know a guy a little bit better before you do that. Or at least just, I mean, you must be freaked out right now. I would be freaked out too. I understand. So I think you just need some boundaries, and, you know, maybe this could be a small lesson for you. Then, you know, some people, even, like, we want to trust people. You're probably a nice and trusting person, so am I. But there's a lot of creeps out there, so we just gotta keep some boundaries up so that that kind of stuff doesn't happen to us again. Good luck with this, Sue. This sounds really stupid. I hope you feel better. Next question comes from Nick, 22, and living in Canada. Nick says, I've only recently taken up somewhat of an interest in dating, somewhat due to only fully coming out this year, and throughout the summer I've been hanging out with this guy who I really, really like. I've learned that he quite enjoys when a guy acts cheesy, and he's a fan of personalized gifts. That's a bonus. I love personalized gifts. He says, I'm planning on asking him out, but not just by saying it. I want to do it by writing him a poem. I'm asking for your opinion on this because I feel that asking my close friends will result in biased opinions. Is it a good idea or is it too much? Thanks for your time. Nick, I think you should do, if you think that this is what you want to do, just do it. You don't need everybody. This is you and the guy that you like. What do your friends have to do with it? What do they have to do with it? If you like this guy, I think you should go for it. And don't worry about everybody else's opinions. Don't get me wrong, I think friends' opinions, invaluable. They're very important, but I think that a lot of times we put maybe more stock in their opinions than we need to. Do you want to write him a poem? So do it. You think he would like it? So do it. I mean, if he likes personalized gifts, it sounds like he would love a poem. If you don't really want my opinion, fine. I'll say yes, write him the poem, but my point is that you don't need my opinion. If you think this is what he wants, then you should go for it, okay? We gotta trust ourselves a little bit more. So, yeah, do that, Nick, alright? Let me know how it goes. And that'll do it for today's Advice Annex. So again, if you guys have any questions, if you need any advice you would like answered in a future show, please call me. The number is 732-529-5772, and don't panic. There's instructions. It's very difficult to mess it up. I know a lot of people don't like making phone calls these days. I'm one of them. I would rather use the Domino's app than actually call them. So I understand, but I like phone calls. They kind of jazz up the show a little bit. But if you don't want to do that, you can email me at theadviceannex@gmail.com. And I guess that's about it. One other thing, for this show and for Thursday's show, I didn't have MP3 downloads of the show because, I don't know. If you guys really like the MP3 downloads, let me know. I'll make them available for you guys, but I'm just not sure if I need to do that now that I got it on YouTube. So, but if it's highly requested, I will keep the MP3 downloads, alright? I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a good week. Bye. First email comes from Sue. She's from California, 17 years old. Sue says, that's like that, what do they call it? Like, sells seas by the seashores? I don't know.